I forgot that I have a meeting first hour and second hour today, so I'm going to try to make it in at the end of the hour, but if I don't, I wanted to make sure that you guys had something to work on. Today is going to be the quotient rule. Remember yesterday we did product rule when we were multiplying things together? Well, today is the quotient rule when we are dividing. So this is the little song I've been singing lately. Low D high minus high D low, square the bottom, and away we go. Okay, so what does that mean? Low. Low is the function that's on the bottom because we're dealing with division. High is dealing with the top function. So low D high, derivative of the top, minus high D low, derivative of the bottom, square the bottom, and away we go. So I'm going to color code these. And I'm going to color code blue for the bottom. Thought that made sense. Red for the top. And I am going to walk through doing the quotient rule when I have a fraction. So the derivative is, and I'm just going to make one big line of a fraction here. So it says low. Low is the first thing that we do. That's 5t minus 3. D high. D high is the derivative of the top. That's only going to be a 2t. Low D high minus. So we've got a subtract sign. High, well, that's just my t squared minus 4. D low is the derivative of the bottom. That turns out just to be 5. Square the bottom. So the bottom is 5t minus 3. And now I'm going to square that. And away we go. So now, how far do you need to simplify this derivative? Well, you've got to be able to combine like terms on the top. Oops, and I see I forgot a parenthesis here. So just finishing that out. So what do you need to be able to do? The 5t's got to be multiplied, the 3's got to be multiplied. So I have 10t squared minus 6t. Okay, subtract. I'm going to subtract, and I'm putting this all in a parenthesis because this is where we have parenthesis issues and sign issues. Distribute, and I get 6t squared minus, I have to apologize that it's not a 6, that's a 5. So here we go. 5t squared minus 20. And the bottom, I'm just going to leave it stay as 5t minus 3 quantity squared. Okay, there's my derivative. Now, I should combine like terms. So this is going to become plus, negative, positive. I see that there are some t squareds that I can simplify. So my final derivative would be 10 and negative 5 would make 5t squared minus 6t plus 20 all over the 5t minus 3 quantity squared. That's my derivative. So low d high minus high d low, square the bottom, and away we go. So we're going to do the same thing here. Y prime equals, going to set that up. Again, blue is for the bottom, red is for the top. So when it starts as low, that's going to be my x cubed. D high, derivative of cosine is negative sine of x. Low D high minus. High is just cosine of x. And D low would be the derivative of the bottom, which would be 3x squared. Square the bottom, so I have an x cubed, and that whole quantity is being squared, and away we go. Okay, simplify now. So y prime equals, setting that up. There's not a lot to simplify. Negative x cubed sine x. And then it's subtract a 3x squared cosine x all over x to the 6th. A 3 and a 2, we could work that out. Now, I'm okay with you leaving it there, but I just need to show some of you that like to simplify. There's an x squared and an x squared that I could pull out, and that x squared would leave me a negative x sine x minus a 3 cosine x all over x to the 6th, and then these here would reduce, and this would become to the 4th power. Okay, low d high minus high d low, square the bottom, and away we go. Okay, so for this next example, this has a product rule in it. Can you see the product rule? For the product rule, there's a times right here. And then there's a quotient rule right here. So it's a product rule with a quotient rule. If you cannot have to do both rules, I wouldn't do it. So how can I do this? I can rewrite this. So notice I have f of x, not the derivative yet. Could I take that x to the 4th and distribute it to both of those things and come up with x to the 4th, subtract 2x to the 4th, and this is over x plus 1. So now, when I take my derivative, this first piece, just power it down like you've done before, 4x to the 3rd, subtract. This piece here is a quotient rule, so blue to the bottom, red to the top. So low, oops, wrong color on, low x plus 1. D high, that's going to be an 8x to the 3rd. Low D high minus high, that's my 2x to the 4th. And D low, derivative is just 1. Square the bottom, x plus 1 quantity squared, and away we go. So how far do you have to simplify this? Y prime equals this 4x to the 3rd is going to stay there. Subtract. This gets distributed, this gets distributed. 8x to the 4th plus 8x to the 3rd. Subtract 2x to the 4th all over x plus 1 quantity squared. And finally, my derivative is 4x to the 3rd, subtract, 8 and 2, I'm going to have subtract 6x to the 4th plus 8x cubed all over x plus 1 quantity squared. Now, I could have you do more simplifying, but I'm not going to. So that is demonstration of quotient rule. This next one is just a reminder to help you. This is product rule. And you're looking at it, you're going, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. It's product rule. So it is x squared minus 1 times x squared minus 1. That's what that quantity squared means. So I have to do product rule. I have a first term and I have a second term. Okay, so remember, my derivative for product rule is first derivative of the second plus the second derivative of the first. Okay, so what's my derivative going to look like? Well, trying to use the colors. First is just going to be x squared minus 1. Derivative of the second is going to be 2x. Added on to the second, that is x squared minus 1 times the derivative of the first, which happens to be 2x. So notice, low d high, this was first derivative of second plus second derivative of first. So how far do you take it? I see that this can easily be multiplied, so that's going to become 2x to the 3rd minus 2x, added on to 2x to the 3rd minus 2x. So my final derivative would be 4x to the 3rd minus 4x. Okay, so Last example. Oops, let's get it up here. It says find the derivative and f of c if this is. So basically it's find derivative and then plug in the c value. I think you guys can do that. So for my derivative, it is a quotient rule. It's a fraction. So blue to the bottom, low, and red to the top, high. So low, x minus 5. D high happens to be 1. Low D high minus high, x plus 5. D low happens to be 1. Square the bottom, x minus 5 squared, and away we go. Okay, so my derivative, just working this out fast, is x minus 5, subtract an x, subtract a 5, all over x minus 5 quantity squared, which is the same as negative 10 over x minus 5 quantity squared. That is my derivative. Find the derivative. Check. Plug in the c value. Okay, so I'm going to get negative 10 over, the c value is 4, minus 5 squared. Negative 10 over negative 1 squared. My answer is negative 10. Ta-da! Okay, quotient rule. Low D high minus high D low. Square the bottom and away we go. We'll see you tomorrow. Know the song. We're going to sing it.